what's the difference between a business market and the regular market. So I want to talk about some of the unique characteristics, market structure, the buying objectives, this concept of a buying center, and demand. I just said that. So some of the differences between B2B and B2C. You're familiar with those acronyms? B2B, B2C, C2B, C2C, right? Business to business, business to consumer, consumer to consumer. Anyway, so one of the big differences is just the size of the transaction. So who here buys coffee? How much do you buy? Oh, who here buys coffee beans? How much do you buy? Pound? 12 ounces? Can't afford a whole pound?
No, they just sell me.
Oh, that's what they sell you? Okay. How much coffee does Starbucks buy? Yeah, shiploads. Thousands. Or do I have that? Yeah, 425 million pounds in 2011. That's a lot of coffee. So totally different concept. I'm buying 12 ounces at a time. I'm buying 425 million pounds over the course of a year. Related to that is I have fewer customers. I used to live in Toledo, Ohio, which is part of the. When I left, it was called the Rust Belt, but before that, it was a major industrial area that centered around the automobile industry. And if I was selling to the automobile industry, how many customers do I have? Do I have more than 100? Do I have more than 20? Maybe 10? Yeah, so it's like if I am selling coffee at 12 ounces a bag, I have millions of customers. If I'm selling to the automobile industry, I have 10 customers. I have 12 customers. Totally different relationship. I know who they are. I know where they live. And they're buying lots of stuff. So it's a different, this is why relationships are so important in business compared to the consumer market. Another characteristic of business markets is they tend to cluster geographically. And there are reasons for this that have been gone into by our good colleagues in economics. But if I wanted to sell to the tech industry, where would I put up a shop? If I wanted to sell to the advertising industry, where would I set up a shop? I'll give you a hint. It starts with New York. Say again? There's New York. There's also Chicago, LA, and San Francisco also have decent. But if you want the advertising industry, it's New York. That's where it is. You want to sell to the automobile industry? Go to Detroit. Real estate's real cheap there right now. Another difference between the business market and consumer markets is in the business market, you are dealing with professional buyers. They have been trained in negotiation techniques. They have fewer products to consider. When you go to the grocery store, how many things you buy? A couple dozen, 20, 30. Over the course of the month, you might purchase 100 or 200 different items. If I am an automobile, if I'm the spark plug buyer for General Motors, I buy spark plugs. That's what I do. I might know more about spark plugs than you who are trying to sell them to me because I have been doing this for my life. I understand spark plugs. So I have fewer products to consider. I'm only buying certain categories, and I become very knowledgeable about those products. Another difference in this is actually it's the same, but where the authority to buy comes from is different in the business market, consumer market. As a consumer, if authority to buy comes from me, my bank. If I got the money, I can buy. In business, especially in retail buying, they have a term called open to buy, where I might have $100,000 to use to stock my department, and as my inventory depletes, that frees up some cash, which I can buy some other stuff with. Or if I'm in the procurement department of a automobile manufacturer, I might have a procurement budget where I am expected to source so much material for a certain price. And because they are professional buyers, they are less susceptible to persuasion, right? Well, sorta. Yes, it's true.
Persuasion or bribe?
But see, and this is one of the things that if you haven't been in business, and I know most of you work, so you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't been in business, we have this, as young people growing up, we have this mindset of corporations are big buildings with glass facades and people in suits doing important things, and businesses are people. They're run by people, and they may be people wearing suits, but they're people. They have all of the same foibles as you and me. They got insecurities, they got problems at home, and their brains are subject to the same biases as consumer brains are. This whole cognitive miserliness and all of the stuff that's going on with the brain, that's happening in the business market as well. So yes, while they are trained and probably do a better job, especially at taking into account some of the non-financial costs of a purchase, they're human beings. So that was my motto as a sales manager: is all things being the same, people buy from people they like. So your job is to be liked. My job is to make all things the same.